All right, from the Fairfax City, we are very grateful that Sanna Vaarni accepted our invitation. Sanna, welcome to my humble podcast.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and it is an honor to be here. Thank you.
No, quite the opposite. Sanna, let's go back to the beginning of your life. Were you born like in a musical family? How old were you when you perhaps began, I don't know, taking piano lesson or guitar lesson when you were a little girl at home or that sort of thing?
Yeah, when I was 6 years old, my mother said that I should pick up a hobby. And she gave me two options, actually, the ballet or the piano. And I have to admit that I chose the ballet first, but it lasts only 3 months. And then I decided to start taking piano lessons. And I really loved playing directly from the beginning. And I also loved to practice a lot. And I come from absolutely non-musical family. Nobody was listening classical music at home. And so I really don't know from where my passion came. But I really, really loved classical music from the beginning, and my parents told me that I was always singing, and I also joined quite a famous Tapiola youth choir when I was 11 years old, and with this choir we made fantastic tours around the world, and it was great. Also, that was very interesting for my education. And well, that is how it went.
And then when you were in high school, when you were, I don't know, 14 to years old, where you knew back then that you will kind of be ending or going to like a musical school, or you were not sure at the time when you were 14, 15?
I have to say that I loved playing so much that already when I was something like 10 or 11, I couldn't even play well because my parents didn't have any connections. They didn't know the piano world. They didn't know how to find a proper piano teacher. But then I entered to a music institute, Espoo Music Institute, and I was very lucky to enter to a piano class of Katarina Nummi-Kuisma. And so then I really started to practice seriously, and I was really serious and determined right from the beginning.
All right. Is it difficult? The institute, it's difficult to enter. You need to go to a competition. They select X number of students, and I don't know if 100 apply, they pick 10 or 15. Whatever.
Well, I don't remember those days, but for example, nowadays in our school, we have every year almost 200 kids who are coming to the entrance tests, and we select only like 10 to 15. So it's quite tough.
Very difficult. Very difficult to make it. And then obviously after that institute, you end up winning a scholarship and you study piano for 1997 in 1999 in Paris, France, right? Is that correct?
Yes. From Espoo Music Institute, I went to Sibelius Academy, where I also was very lucky to study with Professor Eero Heinonen, who is a wonderful Finnish pianist and amazing pedagogue. And then I got this grant later, and I decided to go to Paris.
Got it. How difficult was it at the time? You were very young, right? Be on your own in Paris. You knew French to begin with, or?
I really didn't know any French. That was the most difficult part because at that time they really didn't want to speak English. So, but I tried to learn French, and little by little I learned. And
how difficult was the program? How many hours were you practicing? I mean, it's something like you met with the professor in the morning and the afternoon practice and practice and like every day like that, or?
Yeah, of course, every day I practiced in Paris because I didn't have my own piano. I had to always go to practice to the school. I could practice maybe 5 to 6 hours per day. And I had once a week lesson with my professor. But in Finland, of course, during my Sibelius Academy times, we practiced even much more. Yeah.
Right. So it was difficult to have a life outside music, right? I mean, if you wanted to go out with your friends or a boyfriend or movies, you spend a lot of time on
Yes,
doing classical music.
yes, I have to say, all my friends were also studying in Sibelius Academy. They were all pianists or other musicians. So pretty much we shared the same lifestyle.
Yeah, gotcha. I got you. Oh, wow. Your age, I was a troublemaker, man. I was doing a lot of stuff that you don't want to know, right? But music was important. But as I told you before, and I don't play an instrument. I don't know how to read music at all yet. But music has given me a lot of satisfaction in my life. It's hard to describe to people. I mean, I listen to music, I don't know, 2-3 hours a day at least.
Mhm.
You know, on
Wonderful.
the way to work or when I come back or going to concert or it's music is great. And we live in crazy times in the world, you know, and
Yes,
you
yes,
know, this
yes.
country and that country and this and that. And hopefully, you know, music will, I don't know, save the world or make us better as human beings because we are doomed, you know. I don't know.
I actually was the other day having the same kind of thoughts because the world is so crazy that I feel that also I am kind of in my own music bubble. I am teaching and practicing and doing my own projects and concerts and
Yeah, it's difficult the way that we live in.
yes.
Of course, you were after you got back from Paris, you've been awarded many piano competitions all over the world. Is one in particular that is the most important to you that you will say, yeah, because of that event, you know, a lot of things happen in my life? Of course, all the awards are important, but is one in particular that make a big difference in your life?
Well, I have been in competitions in Finland, and I think that I have kind of planned, but actually I didn't plan it. I stopped competing after these competitions in Finland. They went really well, but I just wanted to build up my career in a different way. I have done the things that I love. I have played chamber music, worked with singers, I have made recordings. So that has been my path.
Any particular a general question because I imagine as a musician it's hard to answer that, but it's any area or years that are more important to you. I don't know. I will mention, you know, Schubert, Chopin, Beethoven. Any period that for you is more important than other.
You
Uh,
mean?
in general, for you when you release a new record, right, or when you do a performance in front of people, any area or period that is more appealing to you?
Well, if you now look to the recordings and the repertoires of my recordings, maybe you can get the idea that I am focusing to the 20th century repertoire. Yeah. But for example, now on my newest CD, I am playing also Schubert, and I have done some pairing with Schubert and with Berio.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was pairing contemporary music with Schubert. But I also love romantic music, like Schumann, Brahms. They are very, very close to my heart.
Yeah. Wow.
But maybe lately I have been focusing to the 20th century piano music. Yeah.
Yeah. And the school that you teach, they are very structured in the sense that the first year the student need to learn the master like Beethoven,
Yes.
Schubert, Mozart before can do anything, or the kids have freedom to you know apply the studies to different areas or pick a different century or a different composer, or they are very structured in the school that the first year you need to master these 10 pieces, whatever.
We are not that strict, but we have a certain system in Finland in every instrument that we must learn our Bachs and our Mozart and Beethoven and romantic different styles, absolutely. And lately, maybe we have also more freedom that students can also choose more the repertoire they love to play, but there are always certain things that you have to play, especially if you want to become a professional. Then you really have to do your Chopin studies and Bach and all the basics.
Yeah, man, that's very difficult. Is it difficult to, for example, if you go to a concert, okay, or you listen to a new piece of music for, let's say, Schubert, okay, just to mention a name, right? And then a piece of Schubert, and then 3 different conductors, right? And then 3 different pianists, right? Can you tell? From your point of view, because you know your stuff, can you tell the difference in the sense that out of the 3 pieces that I mentioned, the same piece, right? 3 pianists, right? Pianist 1, Mary, Peter, and Mary, whatever the name, right?
Yes.
Can you listen to the errors and the director or the chamber, whatever, interpreting the music? Is it easy, hard for you to pick up the error, pick up the mistake, or at your level, or?
Well, do you mean from the recordings or
from the recording, right? Right, from the recording. Can you tell?
Of course, on the recordings, very seldom there are mistakes because nobody wants to have errors on the discs, and then we can take different takes, as many takes as we want. So, but yes, of course, if somebody, for example, sometimes it happens that somebody has a misread note in a recording, of course I can hear it immediately.
Yeah. And there are some versions that you will like better than others, right? The same piece of music, but played by 3 different people, right? You will like, I don't know, the pitch, the tempo, whatever, more appealing.
Yes, of course, there is. I have my opinions and what I like the best. I might think that this slow movement was a little bit too slowish for me, and I like that sound a little bit better. And yes, of course.
All right. I couldn't tell the difference. I like the stuff, but I don't, because I like music, but I don't. So you're a tenured professor of piano and digital music in Espoo, right? And of course you were you were the head of the piano department, and man, that's a big deal, right?
Yes.
It was difficult to get to that level.
Sorry?
It was difficult for you to get to that level.
What
to
do
become
you mean?
a tenured professor?
Well, we had a competition and I happened to win it. So it's not very easy because there are many young pianists in Finland who are, especially in the metropolitan area. If there is an open post in a conservatory or music institute, there are many pianists who try to get it. So I also felt that I was very lucky to get it.
Well, maybe you're good. I don't. Maybe you're no luck, but you're very good at what you do. I really I listen to at least the 4 CDs or 5 CDs that are there. I listen to everything that you have done, at least that I could find on Spotify, and it's very good stuff. I really the music that you chose, I will go in more detail, but it's very emotional. It's I think it's not an accident that you pick those pieces, because for you as a personality, right?
No, absolutely. No, I believe that that some kind of music speaks to me more.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I have chosen only music that is very close to my heart.
That's right. Yeah. Otherwise, it will be difficult, right? So let's say if I a studio or a producer or recorder want you to want to create a series or the best Finland pianists in the last 20 years, right? Some pieces are more appealing to you than others, right? So
yes,
you're more comfortable playing that type versus this place, right?
Yeah.
So
yes.
and of course,
I think that for the recordings, it's important to choose music with which you can be comfortable. With suits your personality, it's important.
Correct. Of course, you held master class in Music Institute and conservatories all over the world, and of course in Finland, you can to China, Japan.
Wonderful to meet young musicians all over the world, and also to share ideas with their teachers and see that music truly connects and people and is an international language. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. And of course, Japan and China, Europe. Any funny stories that you can tell going to, I don't know, Japan or China, or of course, when you listen to music, you don't need to speak the language, right? I don't speak Chinese or I don't speak Japanese, but
no, absolutely.
When you listen to good music, how you communicate with them?
When I was teaching in Japan in June during my tour, I had an interpreter because they didn't speak English so well, but it worked pretty well. And also in China, I remember that I had an interpreter, yes.
I got you. That's very interesting. But of course, in 2018, you end up releasing In the Mist, of course, on the piano music of Leon Janáček. Janáček was a chess composer that was born in 1854 and ended up dying in 1928, almost 100 years ago. And the same question before, why that was your kind of In the Mist, your baby, your first project that you put out there, right? And why you had that particular composer? Why you end up choosing in this particular case Leon Janáček?
That is a very good question. It indeed was my first album, and at that period, Janáček's music was something that spoke to me on a very intimate level. And now later, I have noticed that always when I'm passing some difficult times in my life, I do play his music or listen to his music. And for example, on that period, my mother was dying. I remember that my master was ready and I was going to hospital and to see her, and I wanted to that she could have listened my playing, but actually she passed away that morning, so she never heard my playing.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but that is the case with Janáček. I love that piano sonata is so powerful, and then this In the Mist, which is much more intimate piece. Janáček composed it because he lost her daughter, so it wasn't composed in a very happy circumstances.
Gotcha. And then I think I listened to read the reviews of all the records that you put out there, and it was very well received. You get
Yes,
great reviews.
yes, I have been very, very lucky. Yeah.
I don't know about luck, but how many hours or how many days you need to practice when you decide to get a new record, right? When a new recording, you say, "Well, I want to do it in a month from now," right? So, how difficult is to learn to play new music, right? Before you master it, before you go to a studio, and then you do 2 3 takes, and then you end up creating, that you end up finishing that recording before somebody else master it and so on.
That's a good question. Of course, my situation is a little bit different because I have my teaching duties. So that takes many hours and every day. But for example, my third album, this Les Yeux Clos, all the pieces were new for me. I think that it took 8 months. But that time was special because I had accident with my bike and I broke my wrist. I had a fracture. So I remember when I eventually could started playing, it was like physiotherapy. I could play only very slowly and then after 8 months, I was able to do it.
I got you. And then, so that's the question then. So how do you approach practicing for a new piece, right? So it isn't the time, right? So you're given, let's say, 6 months to learn a new piece of music before you go to a studio, and then what's the process? You need to a piece of, let's say, I don't know, Mozart, okay, or Schubert or Chopin, something that you have never heard before, right? And
something that I haven't earlier.
right, and then what's the process for you to go for? I mean, beside the practicing, right? You say here the rhythm music, right? You need to learn, and then you do this.
Yes, of course. The first thing.
What's the process for you to go forward, right?
Yeah, the first thing, of course, is to really learn the notes and the piece and study carefully the score and composer's intentions. Of course, in the beginning, I tend to listen many recordings of the piece, especially if I am learning a piece that I haven't played before. Then it's nice because nowadays it's so easy to find recordings. So it's good to listen to the music, and I like to listen many recordings to collect different styles. But then at some point I stop listening to the others and I try to find my own path. And I record at some point when I can play the piece well. I start recording myself, and then I can work as my own professor.
Well, good for you.
There you have to do that. What are you doing there? Stop that. Why do you play so fast?
Because you can be your worst critic, right? Because knowing absolutely. Your personality, it's be not good enough. Need to be perfect for you to say, let's go for the recording tomorrow morning. I'm ready to go.
Yes. Right? Yes. And then for me, it's also important to have a little pause from the music. So maybe I study something totally else between, and then somehow it's important for my mind also to have a pause, have a break from that piece. And then when I take it again, I notice that I can see new things and new ideas easily.
Gotcha. In general terms, if looking at your career, is any performance that challenged you the most, and how you overcome that? It's looking back in everything you have done, is in one particular you say, man, this for me learning to play that, or was the hardest thing I ever done because this and
Well,
that?
of course, many concerts have been challenging in many different ways. Maybe piano
Yeah.
wasn't good, or it was very hot, or I had jet lag, or something like that. But I remember one particular performance, but it was in a competition when I was young, and I was actually playing a Schubert program, very big sonata, and then some virtuoso studies. But I really felt very unsure before that, and I was crying during the lessons that no, I don't, nothing comes out as I wish, and I was really desperate and ready to cancel the whole thing. And then my teacher said to me, "But Sanna, let's just now play it one more time again, and maybe this time you just don't try anything. Just see how it comes out." And it was kind of a magic moment, so that immediately everything went into right places, and it was a perfect Zen moment. And then there were still a couple of days until the performance in the competition. I just tried not to disturb this feeling, and it went really well. So that is something that I remember always. Don't try anything, just play.
I got you, understand. Of course, in February 2019, you were invited to give a demonstration of your teachings at the National Piano Conference in Finland, right? And then I suppose there were a lot of European piano teachers invited. I imagine that's a big deal because it's
That was
with the best of the best, right? So
it was very important recognition to be invited to give a master class or a teaching demonstration there. I remember that I was really nervous.
Really?
But then it happens that when I start to teach, when I am with a student, I relax and everything goes well. So,
as a teacher, are you very strict with the student? You need to be at school?
I have a reputation to be a very strict one, but I am also very nice, I have to say. And I know when I follow my students, I know when I can demand things more. Yeah. And then I also see that, okay, this is enough now. And important thing to me is that I know how much I can demand from one student, because students are different. You can't demand the same things from different students. So that is important. I don't want to put my students into a situation that they feel that they can't do it. I take care that everything that I ask, I know that they can do it.
Right. Some students, I suppose, they can do a piece in 2 days, other a week or 2 weeks, whatever, right? So the progress is an individual progress, right? So
yes,
you could not apply the same rule to everybody.
Exactly. It's impossible. Yes.
Yeah, and of course they need to come from the student as well, right? They need to be willing to do the work, right?
Yes.
You can give the rules and the instruction, but they need to do the work, right? You cannot do that for them, right? Yes. If they want to improve in their life and in order to attend the classes and so forth.
I am very lucky to have a very active piano class. My students are from 5 years to 18 years, and it can really happen that I spend like 15 years with the same student if everything goes well between us. So I think it's a huge privilege to be with somebody for such a long time, once a week, and be there, help them to understand music and life. And
right. What's the ratio of female to male in the program, the class? Are more female, more male, or like 50-50?
Good question. I have noticed, for example, in competitions, there are many girls, maybe 50-50. Yeah, but in the end, the winners very often are males.
Wow. Why do you think it's the case? What's your take on that?
I don't know. I've been thinking because often I have been judged. I have been in the juries in different competitions in Europe. Maybe boys at that age, if they play the piano, they really give it all. They concentrate so much. Then girls maybe are more distracted. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. Or is it fair to say that maybe the judges are more biased toward men versus female?
No,
No.
that I don't believe. No.
Yeah. So the other factor underneath, right? Because in some areas, right? In some areas, I'm a scientist, right? And I work for corporation, and there, if you look at statistically, right, there are more male that are CEOs than female that are CEOs, right? And somebody will say, why is the case? So that's what the question is. It's maybe there are bias in society that like a woman couldn't be a CEO, couldn't be the head of the department, or couldn't be a head of finance because we live in a male-dominated society.
Yes.
It doesn't mean
Yes.
that are no good or better or worse than others, right? So
Yes.
and at least the way I was raised, but
Yes.
and so it sometimes is very unfair. The world of society is very unfair to certain genders or groups and so on and so forth, right? So,
Yes.
and in 2022, you end up releasing your second CD called Illustrazioni, which is another great masterpiece. Of course, in there consists of Della Piccola, Rota, Sanchi, and so on and so forth. And the illustration have taken beautiful reviews, and you got great reviews from Fazer, the American Record Guy, and Classic Today, and so on. So good for you. Good for you.
Thanks.
How difficult was to put that together?
To what?
To put that together and then select those composers for that particular.
It is very interesting question because I didn't know any of this repertoire. I had never heard any of these pieces before because Italian piano repertoire, especially this of the 20th century, it's not played in Northern Europe. I have to say, not much. But I truly fell in love with the music of those composers, and it was a huge surprise for me what kind of unknown jewels that repertoire includes. And I found many music that I felt that it was like almost written to me, that I felt that I really felt a connection with this music. For example, these preludes by Rota and the pieces by Malipiero. Also Chelsea, an amazing composer. Nobody plays it. And Dalla Piccola. So yeah, it was really, really rewarding project for me. And of course, it was really nice that listeners worldwide like this combination. And it was nice to get good feedback from kind people all over the world.
Good for you. Yeah, of course. That's important as well. And of course, in general, can you walk me through your practice routine in the sense that when you are kind of in the morning when you go to school, you come back in the afternoon, you always practice, or during the weekend, or in other words, is music? I know it's a job for you. You get paid to go to school and teach, but the music comes to you or you force in the saying that on a Saturday or Sunday you go to the piano and improvise and hopefully record without knowing what you want to play. It's not that you have Schubert or Mozart or Beethoven from you, but if you were to play right now, what would you do? How the music is conveyed to your body, in other words? What's your routine in order to?
Well, the routine, I love routines. So I have so many routines. But one thing is that my work, my lessons, teaching lessons, they start in the afternoon around 2 or 3 p.m. So I practice always in the morning, and it's very easy for me. Many musicians are not morning people, but I am. I wake up really early, and I like early mornings. I do my morning run, and then it's my practice time. And,
right. Before you go to school, right?
Yeah, I have a grand piano. Maybe you can see it.
Oh yeah, beautiful, man. Yeah,
it's
I do.
There. I have a grand piano here at home, but of course I can't practice all the time here because of the neighbors. So sometimes I practice at home, but for example, now when I am preparing important things, I like to go to school in the morning, and because we have a good steinway there and a little hall, and maybe I'm also a little bit more concentrating there. But of course, the days become very long, because if I go there at 9, then my lessons start at 2 or 3, and then I come at home at 7 or 8. So I'm totally dead, a zombie when I come home.
So you're like a morning person, you say. Well, when you try
Yes.
to, so you go for a run, you get coffee, tea, and then you go to the piano, and then you do your thing, do your magic.
Coffee part is very important. Coffee is.
Yeah.
And then I practice, and I practice maybe 3 to 4 hours. I keep little pauses every now and then. If I listen to some music, I envy you, because you can listen to music so much, because I don't have time to it. When I come back home after teaching, I can't listen anything. Also, it's impossible for me to practice after the lessons. My head is totally in a different mood, and it's a disaster if I start to practice.
I got you. Let's say if a recording studio, they like you, I want to hire you to do a particular piece, okay? And you can pick anything. What would you do?
So far, I have given them suggestions, and they have agreed. Sometimes they have been asking questions, why Berio and why Schubert? Then I have explained why, and they have accepted. So I'm treated well.
Right. If you could take 3 albums, 3 CDs or vinyl or recording to an island,
yes,
what would you pick by yourself? You're taking a week off and you go into, I don't know, Brazil by yourself, and you can take 3 recordings, 3 CDs, let's say. What would you pick?
Oh my goodness. This is a very important question. I can't answer too easily to it.
5, whatever. Some pick that you can.
Well, if I just name something, I am sure I would take some Schubert.
Yeah.
Maybe the string quintet. I love it.
Yeah.
Then from the pianists, I have many favorites, but I love Julius Katchen. So maybe something from him, maybe Brahms. And what else? Maybe also some Schubert's piano sonatas. But it would be a very difficult thing to choose the pianist. I love Brendel, of course. Wilhelm Kempf, wonderful. What else? Maybe some Schumann. Maybe Fantasy by Schumann. For example, by Arrau, Claudio Arrau. Maybe some late Beethoven sonatas by Arrau.
No, Claudio Arrau was from my country, you know that, right? He was from Chile. Yeah, he was very well known down there, right?
I have almost participated his masterclass in Finland.
Really?
Many years ago, but he didn't make it. He had some kind of health problems, and the concert and the masterclass was cancelled. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I knew of him, right? But later on in my life, I began researching him, and I learned that he was that important. I didn't know that he was that important, right? I didn't know that, right? I at the time I was more interested in literature. I was reading a lot of books, and poetry, stuff like that. So, but eventually, then I came across his work, and I realized that he was that important in the world. I didn't know that. So,
yes, for me, he's very important.
Yeah,
very important pianist.
Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Of course, your third CD in 2024, Les Yeux Clos, which is French for the close eyes. Of course, you were interpreting that there. You were taking the pieces for Takemitsu and Messiaen, and that CD also received many great reviews from Piano News, Amadeus de Oro, Click Magazine, and so on and so forth. Ben, good for you again. One memory. You're very humble. What memory do you have for that? Putting that recording together, going to a studio and recording it.
Yeah, that was also very, very, let's say, it wasn't an easy period in my life, and I put all my heart to these pieces, and I don't know. I remember that when I went to the recording hall, there was a terrible snowstorm in April.
In April?
Yes.
My God.
Yes, I still remember the date. It was 23rd of April. But yeah, it was very, also pairing these two composers was very interesting project for me. I was listening Takemitsu's music because I didn't know many of his piano pieces, and then instantly I fell in love with his music because it's very personal. It truly tells about his personal thoughts and feelings. And then I was thinking, what could be an interesting composing to put to the same record? And somehow I just was thinking Messiaen. And then I started to listen to his music, and I was like, wow, this is really, really powerful combination. And I wanted to create some kind of dialogue between these two composers. And at this time, only later, I learned that they had this very important connection, that Takemitsu really thought that Messiaen was his spiritual mentor. And when Takemitsu had some kind of crisis in his composing work, he said that Messiaen was the key to go forward. And you can really hear the influences of Messiaen's music in Takemitsu's music.
I got it.
Yeah, and also it was very wonderful because I have always wanted to go to Japan, and this CD somehow brought me there for the first time. So in the beginning of last summer, I was in Japan, 2 weeks, playing concerts and teaching.
Perfect. When you play, let's say, not in your country, outside your country, like in Japan or China or any country in Europe, any particular rituals that you go through? Like, okay, the concert starts at, say, 8 p.m., right? And then you get nervous around 6:30. Any particular rituals that you
Yes, of course,
before
I have many rituals, but I am nervous already in the morning. So if I feel good, I go for a light run because it relaxes me.
Yeah.
I love running, so
Yeah.
but not too much. Not too much. Only something very relaxed. And then I go to practice, and I always play the concert program in an opposite order. So I don't start from the first. Yes, I start from the last piece, so that the last piece that I will practice is the first piece of the concert. I don't know why. It's a tradition. And what else? Then I always, after this, it's important to have a nap. I never sleep, but I try to have a nap. And then I maybe do some yoga because it calms me down. And I always go to the concert place like 1 hour before. Not too early, not too late. And then, of course, I change the clothes. If possible, I go to the hall to play just a little bit, but not too much, only just few chords. And that's about it.
Wow. And then at the end, after you play, do you meet with the people that want to buy a CD or they want to sign a program or whatever?
Yes.
That's what I do. I want to meet every artist.
Then we usually go to eat something. Yes, and of course, one thing is important. I have always banana with me.
Really?
I don't even like bananas, but I always take them with me when I have concert. And chocolate.
And chocolate as well.
Yes, chocolate and a banana.
And then coffee. Decaf coffee or regular coffee?
Coffee, yes. Coffee, 1 cup of coffee, yes.
Yeah, I got it. What about wine? Wine or beer or?
No, this comes after the concert.
No, of course. All right. Good for you. And your latest album, of course, is Within the Waves, which is Luciano Berio, and then the piano. I listened to that one more time than the other ones because I was reading that Luciano Berio he did a lot of experimental work in the 1968 composition Sinfonia, and then he did a lot of serious or virtuoso solo pieces, and then he was a pioneer a little bit in electronic music.
Yes.
That for me, I love electronic music. So I did research and stuff, and it was very fascinating to listen, to read that he did that sort of things as well.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Of course, I didn't know who he was, right? When I was researching your life, I said, who is Luciano Berio? And I began reading and read a couple of articles. Very interesting stuff.
Yes, I think so too. I didn't know this sonata before, but when I listened to it, I was immediately very intrigued and fascinated by it. And then immediately I had this idea that, hey, it would be very interesting to pair this with Schubert. And I don't know why, it was unconscious decision. And then I decided to put this little piece, Wasserklavier, which means water piano, between those two giant pieces as a bridge, because it's not typical Berio. It's more like Schubert. It's like echoes of Schubert, that piece.
Gotcha. In general, is it difficult Well, you have a teaching assignment as well. You work full time as a professor, but as a tenure professor. But it's difficult to make a living in music.
Well, if you are ready to teach and you are to get a post, a good place to teach, of course you can live. You are never going to make big money, but for example, for me, that has always been secondary. I have never been thinking about money. For me, there was no choice. I wanted to become a pianist, and I didn't think anything else. Maybe my parents were a little bit sad for that because they wanted me to be doctor or lawyer or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because they didn't know any musicians. So I think that for many years my mom didn't even believe that I went to work because my work didn't start at 8 o'clock in the morning.
That's right.
So she might have called me at 10 in the morning but Sanna, are you not working? That no, I have told you my work starts in the afternoon. But anyway, they pay you, right? So
that's a funny story. And for music is difficult because if you're a musician, it's very difficult to make a living, right? Unless like
of
UK.
course, it's very
In
difficult.
UK, you have a full-time job there at school, but
Yes.
if you didn't have a job, a lot of people end up doing teaching and they need to do a lot of concerts.
Yes.
It's
It's not
difficult
easy.
to make a
It's very difficult and it's consuming also because it's tough. Tough world is tough. There are so many unmusical factors that affect whether you are going to have a success or not, or whether you are going to have possibilities. Also, I think that it's a question of luck. If you happen to meet one person who can spread the word and suddenly you are playing somewhere. So, but anyway, it's a beautiful life what you can make with music.
Would you do it all over? Would you do it all over again?
Yes, absolutely.
No question about it.
No.
That's your life, Sanna.
Yeah. Yes.
Good for you. What are you working nowadays? Are you working a new CD, a new
Yes.
new material?
I'm preparing now repertoire for my next CD, and then next summer I will go to Paris for 3 months, and just to practice, and I will play concerts there and also in Italy, and then I have some plans for other tours. So.
All right. So you say you want to Paris for 3 months, and then you want to be doing some live event in Italy and other countries as well, or only
yes, maybe in Italy because I have connections there. So
yeah, good for you. Good for you. Very good. Maybe one day I will be in the same town. I will go to your concert and say hello and see you play live.
That would be fantastic. Yes.
Yeah, I was surprised. I will not tell you.
Yes.
Feel free to mention where the listener or this podcast can buy your music. Feel free to mention your website where people can buy your stuff and buy your.
I hope I have mentioned on my website, but anyway, they are sold worldwide in many places, on Amazon, Presto Music, and of course in Italy directly from Stradivarius music labels, in New York from Barnes and Nobles, and in Finland from different shops. Yeah, they are really, if you just make a Google search, you can find where you can buy it.
Okay, so when I see you, you need to autograph and sign it for me, your music.
Yeah, of course.
Because it was Sanna, it was very nice talking to you. Good luck to you, and it was nice. You're very good at what you do, and I love your music. And if there's anything else I can do to help you out with another interview or, going some record or whatever, just let me know. I'm happy to help in any way I can. Music has
thank you so
given
much.
me a lot of satisfaction. So
Likewise, it has been a really, really honor to get to know you and to have this possibility. Really wonderful. It has been a wonderful conversation. Thank you.
As well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.